Mm-hmm.
Listening to the stories that our ancestors put together as lesson plans for us,
Mm-hmm.
it's for us to decipher, not for us to just believe.
Mm-hmm.
You see, so I've been doing this for the last nearly 40 years, trying to decipher what that book really meant. And if you understood the book, you would understand it's a book of science.
Mm-hmm.
It's just that we spoke on scientific things differently than the white man.
Right, right.
The white man complicates things by trying to micromanage everything. We essentially, as I said, we didn't deal with impositional analysis. The white man deals with impositional analysis, which means he imposes his will upon what he studies. This
Mm.
is what I see, this is what it must be.
Mm-hmm.
But the scientists that were our ancestors, they dealt with intuitional analysis.
Mm.
So intuitional analysis is, well, we will wait for the thing to identify itself to us.
Right, right, right.
We will approach nature with courtesy. We're not going to bulldoze our way into it. He's
Mm-hmm.
learning now because he
Mm-hmm.
understands now more because he's what? He's been studying Eastern philosophy.
Mm-hmm.
He's been studying, or where is he going back every time you look at him on TikTok? He over there with black.
Mm-hmm.
He's trying to find out more and more. Where does he do most of his digging? In Africa,
Mm-hmm.
in South America. I don't see him digging up in Europe.
Mm.
Ain't nothing up there. His
Mm-mm-mm.
entire past is in Africa and in South America and in Upper Asia, everywhere where he ain't.
Mm.
And remember, I said that when I did Brother Tariq Nasheed's documentary. The
Mm-hmm.
digger the white man digs, the deeper the white man digs for evidence of his past, the blacker the planet gets.
Mm-hmm. And you also said, speaking of Lucifer, it's connected to the phosphorus. And
Yeah, the luciferus.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, the phosphorus, and that's in the sperm.
That's in the sperm.
Yeah, that's the one that triggers the atomic reaction when it goes through the zona pellucida of the egg.
Mm-hmm.
When it burrows its way down into the zona pellucida, which is the covering on the egg, it burrows its way through. Now, there's millions of them attacking the egg.
Mm-hmm.
The egg knows which one to let through.
Mm-hmm.
You got to see this. This is deep
Mm-hmm.
because this is how you, as the father, selects and opens the portal for the next person that's supposed to be in your lineage to come through.
Mm-hmm.
And depending on what you, as the father, are
Mm-hmm.
feeling at that moment,
Mm.
your emotional body is what uh, creates the sex of the
Mm-hmm.
child. So
Mm.
if you are more into feelings,
Mm-hmm.
because there's two dynamics running through you as electric and magnetic. There's
Mm-hmm.
feelings and desire. Desire is electric, feelings is magnetic.
Mm-hmm.
If you are holding on to a more magnetic energy,
Mm-hmm.
you're going to have a little girl. If you're
Mm.
more in dynamic, if you're in your rage time, you're going out there and you hustling and you banging and what do you call it? You're more in your desire energy. And
Mm-hmm.
that desire energy builds up and then it begins to charge the sperm in
Mm.
accordance with that.
Mm-hmm.
And most people were laughing at me at that time. They laughed at me when I told them that there's an atomic explosion that happens in the middle of the egg once that sperm goes down, and there's a fusion reaction in the middle of
Mm-hmm.
that sperm. Of the egg. As
Mm-hmm.
it flows, there is an action that the European doctors say was phosphorus and it's a phosphorus explain, a phosgene explosion.
Mm-hmm.
Their microscopes have gotten powerful enough to now see what it is that the occult people knew.
Right.
That explosion is the gateway opening up from a menti, where the
Mm.
soul is traveling
Whew. Shit.
back into the life. And then the soul now coming back becomes Osiris or As or Asa.
Mm.
Asa has two ways he died. He was killed by his brother Set,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Mm-hmm.
And was cut up into 16 pieces.
Mm-hmm.
But then the other story of Asa was that he was drowned by Set.
Mm-hmm.
But that was just an analogy speaking about you coming back into the waters of your mother.
Mm.
Because the physical body, the spiritual body dies in the physical body.
Mm.
And that's what the crucifix was about. The man on the cross is that the soul of man dies on the third dimension of matter.
Whew. Damn. You cold with this, Doc. You
And
cold blooded with this, man.
we teach this in our university.
You
All our
cold.
students know about this.
You cold blooded with this. Damn, that's wow. Okay. Wow. That's what the cross is about, huh?
And you wore that in
Yeah.
ancient Kemet after you went through the life and death cycle and resurrection.
Mm-hmm.
Because you had to die once you to be actually initiated in the ancient of times. You had to die. That's where you see the brothers doing Voodoo in Haiti.
Mm.
And they used to put used to drink this and then turn them into zombies. They'd be live.
Yeah.
They
Yeah.
can't move.
Yeah.
That's from the ancient Kemites. What happened is after you went through the crucible, you had to crawl down into a place where you can barely fit down underground. And if you didn't have the stomach to keep going and to push yourself through, that's why you see the Kemites were so skinny. You ever see a fat Kemite on the wall?
No.
Because essentially when they went through that initiation process, they had to go through some deep and dig it. There was one part where he would initiate, because we teach this in our university at the third degree. When you get through and you pull yourself through, you open up into this deep cavern that has a very tiny light that Herodotus was talking about. And over in the corner, you see a small bridge over a gigantic hole. And when you walk through that hole and you cross that bridge, you have to kind of balance your way across the bridge. You get to the other side, all of a sudden there's somebody there that welcomes you into a place where there is the sweetest smelling perfumes. You see all this beautiful thing, and then they got a half-naked woman sitting on the bed.
Oh.
And she's a gorgeous woman. And if you give any attention to her, there's a dude with a scimitar right there to chop your head off.
Wow.
And if you're strong enough to deal with that temptation, it opens up, and then another initiate ushers you into a hall where there are 22 pictures. Which are the what became the tarot. And he explains each one of them. That's how they kept the secrets alive when they were invaded.
Oh, okay.
It's a hall, and there was 22 different pictures that represented the book of life, the book of Jehudi.
Right. Wow. Okay, Doc. See, man, wow. Yeah, y'all better be ready for Sunday, man. Doc know his info, man. Let me put the flyer on the screen one more time.
Okay.
Yeah, I didn't know we was going there tonight, Doc. I thought it was going to be simple and
well, right now it is simple, King, because I tell you, if I could get you into our classes, it'd be so great. You understand exactly what I'm talking about. As a matter of fact, this would be old news for you. You would be teaching.
Excellent. Once again, family, it's happening this Sunday, June 25th, 2023 at 2 p.m. Eastern Time. The link is in the description and is also pinned at the top of the chat. Re-examining the authenticity of reality. Phase 1, exposing and decoding the heliocentric hoax, the mother of all conspiracies. Phase 2, transdimensional pathways, time travel via frequency portals in space-time. That time traveling one, that's very interesting as well. Doc. Frequency portals, is that like different when different brain waves or something like alpha and theta, and is that what that is?
What you have to, the frequency portals are in space-time. Your thoughts automatically, based upon what you're thinking about, opens portals. It's just that you don't know how to walk through because you got too much confusion going on in your head. You can visit any place on the time frame, on the time scale. You can visit any place on the time scale, but see, when we fell, quote unquote, a lot of the organs that were necessary for us to do this type of work went into stasis. And so this is why the yogis went through such a very Martinesque type of rigidity with their passions and their hungers and what they consumed and what they ate and so forth. because there couldn't be anything that takes away from such energy to be able to visit different time spots,
Right.
time frames.
Ooh.
Because if you have, sickness in your body, and your body is calling you, and your body is taking energy in order to try to heal consistently, and the breath and the circuitry of the nerves are all clogged up with filth and pollution, you're not going to take that trip. You're stuck in time. You're stuck in the now time. But usually you need to be with nature. Nature is the necessary helpmeet. She is the one. She's the mother. I don't know if you ever seen one of the cards of the tarot where you see the empress sitting there with a veil across her face. And she's supposed to be Isis or Ast. And she says, none may raise my veil who are not worthy. In other words, and she has a book, the book of life on one lap, on her lap, and the symbol of life in the other. It is through her and what they call space-time, because space essentially is representative of the father. Time is the mother, because she's the one who sets the metronome. The metronome is the father's intention.
So why do they say father time?
Well, father time essentially is the one giving mother nature the energy. You see, the masculine principle is the space. That's the part that everybody is wondering where, what is going on inside of space. They flipped the script. They told you father time because they don't want you to understand and understand that space, that place that everything takes place in, that's the father energy that feeds what you see through the senses. Time sets the metronome. The time is when you go down into matter and you go down into the compressed regions of third density. There is this metronome that is taking place that has you balancing between spirit and matter. Spirit and matter. Tick tock, tick tock. And the only place that happens is under the compression of matter, which is mater, which is mother. So remember, it still switches up. In the yin yang symbol, the father is in the mother and the mother is in the father. So the space-time isn't actually separated. That's us. When we're down in third density, it looks like it's separated, but it's actually operating in consort. And we think that we are over here and it's over there. And until we release the illusion that there is separation and understand that it's all one, you cannot breach space-time, because you're thinking that I got to go through space in order to beat time. Isn't that what they tell you? You got to go faster than the speed of light, and then all of a sudden you come. Yeah, that's because they're playing it as a dichotomy and not as one thing. See, it's going to confuse people. When they say father time, they say that whoever's playing that game, they're taking away from you the understanding of what matter is and what in time and what is space representative of. Space essentially is what? What do we say space is? Space is what they call conditioned fullness. It's a conditioned fullness. It's the water. It is wherever potential can happen in that. You have to be the activator in that. You are actually petitioning the Father when you go into space and time. When you are operating in space, you are using your thought process to send signals into space in order for it to respond to that by creating the cymatic sigils that become matter. And once those cymatic sigils are created by your thoughts, the metronome of time comes in. That's what your heart is about. What do you think your heart is? It's a timekeeper. You see what I'm saying? Why do you think your brain is split to two parts? One is dealing in space, which is the right, and the other is speeding in time, which is the left. Everything is in duality. So when you understand that time is the mother energy that fixes the intentions of the father, which is essentially permeating through what we call space, which is a conditioned fullness of the intention of the Father.
Mm-hmm.
But they're not going to teach you that because they're not telling you too much.
Everything you're talking about right now made me think about what happened with the Schumann resonance and the mother-father principle.
There it is. We're operating opposite to that, and they got us thinking in opposite direction. In fact, that's what the satanic energy is necessarily. That's how they live. They twist everything. They're not going to tell you the truth because that keeps them in power. It keeps them in power to keep you thinking these cross-references. That's why we have to discard everything he says, take in everything that he does give us, because he's the one that's been holding on to everything he's stolen. He's holding it for us. We must now reclaim it, but by reclaiming it, we have to put the definition of it back that we gave to it, not him. Because he is redefining what the Bible means by telling you some white man walked on water, or he came here with blonde hair, blue eyes to actually save humanity. All of those lies are going to be exposed in my webinar. And if you can't, let me ask you a question. He tells you the earth is round and a ball spinning through space at 1,038 miles an hour. If you believe that, then you believe a white man walked on this earth and called himself Jesus Christ. Because like I said, that's the mother of all the conspiracies. If you believe in a globe earth, then you believe in Jesus Christ walked the earth, because they are together. They came out of the same place, the Vatican.
You said something interesting when I talked to you on the phone, Doc, when I was telling you about the Schumann resonance, and I said it looked like cymatic images. You said cymatics are made on a flat surface.
There you go. Check it out. There has to be an opposing force that sets the base for cymatic images, and that is matter. That's the third density matter that pushes against your thoughts to create it. Remember, we are under about 16,000 pounds per square inch of cosmic force. We don't feel it because our body was made to function in it. But every time we give forth a thought, we are resisting that particular pressure. And it's in that resistance of that pressure that the cymatic images of your intentions that come through thought are then imprinted. And once the cymatic image of your thoughts, because you don't see them, they're reverberating on the atomic level. And what they do is they set up an electromagnetic field that calls the specific elements towards them. So when you set up a cymatic image, it's resonating, saying, come on, fill me up. I'm an embryo. I'm a sperm and an egg. I just broke out. I'm a zygote. I'm a thought zygote. Now, feed me. What is it? Okay, I got like 20% fire. I got 40% earth and all of these. And the cymatic images, that sigil that is created by your thoughts, are calling the four elements towards it in order to give it life. And the more you concentrate on that cymatic image, the more you judge it to be a real thing, the more you feed it, the more it then becomes a reality. That's what they were doing with the what's that thing they came out with a long time ago, when they were talking about your thought process. They made a big amount of money. Oprah was talking about it.
The secret.
That's the secret. They talk about thoughts and the positive thoughts and all of that. That's old. That was the simplest thing. That's grammar school stuff compared to what really is the science.
You know, Doc, speaking of whether Earth is flat or round in shapes and cymatics, I knew a brother who was good at manifesting. I'm not going to say his name. Very good at manifesting things into this realm.
Right.
And he told me, he said, "Yo, Rich, I'm gonna tell you some shit that people don't want to hear, so I don't bother telling people, but I'm gonna school you to it." Excuse me. He said that he used, depending on what he wanted to manifest, he will focus on different platonic solids. So he said the platonic sonics is the foundation of how we manifest things into this realm. So if he wanted something pertaining to fire, he would use this solid, or water, he would use that solid or that. So what's your thoughts on that?
That's Kabbalistic energy. That's using the Kabbalah. That's using the energy of the Kabbalah as manifestation. In fact, there is a book out called a Sefer Yetzirah. Check it out. It's the book of formations, the book of creation. So you can deal with the somatic solids. You can deal with the psionic solids too. And what you're doing essentially is using your resonance at what they call creative thinking. When you go into a meditative state and do not allow your thoughts to operate within the space, then your thoughts become a pure artist. In other words, you become an artist that you're, and the space-time continuum becomes your canvas. And you can then paint the reality you wish, but you have to be in such a state of calm in meditation that you cannot be interrupted by previous judgments, whether things are right or wrong, you're angry with people and so forth. All of these are like leeches on your creative energy. They suck your creative energy away from you, and you cannot feed the actual sigil that you wish to create in thought. But the secret now, just as we teach you how to create thoughts, there's another way to learn how not to create thoughts when you're thinking, because they become your karma. Yeah, thoughts become your karma. They're alive. They're like your little children. They're like a kindergarten of kids screaming, looking for attention. Check your brain out when you try to think about something else, and all of a sudden all kind of thoughts about what you don't have, what you got to do, who's messing with you, where you got to be, and all these type of things start coming in all at once, just when you want to focus on something that you know you need to focus on. Everybody starts saying, me, all your thoughts. Start saying, over here.
Yeah, that's so deep, Doc. That's so deep, man. Wow. Oh man. Let's take. Oh man, I'm blown away by today's show today, y'all. Like I said, I thought that we was just gonna keep it real simple, talk about Tate and the Schumann a little bit and the Titanic. Doc